Hello, and welcome to Do Life. Today, I have a very special individual amongst us. This is one of the millennials who you have to really be watching because she's on her way to the top. She is Kristen Hopkins, the founder of Kristen Hopkins Global and Dangers of the Mind. She has a program that is changing our world in the most profound way. When you go to campuses, high schools, and also teaching teachers how to manage and deal with young people and present them the kind of stuff they need to become citizens of tomorrow, I tell you, the response is amazing. And I have so much confidence in her. And I'm privileged to have her on Do Life. So today, without much delay, Kristen, it's a joy to have you.
Wow, it's a joy to be here. Thank you so much. Just to be sitting with you. You are my mentor. You're someone I've studied for years. And so I'm excited to be on Do Life TV. I watch Do Life TV. I'm a fan of Do Life TV. So I'm excited to be here.
And I'll tell you, Christine, I am very impressed. You are the kind of a leader that everyone would say, watch. Every leader that I know who knows about you, or read about you, or seen your work, believes that in the next 3 to 5 years, you will be a name that will resonate all over the world. You are impacting lives and you are doing amazing things. You've had an extremely successful career. You have traveled extensively. You've touched many lives. But you came and you shared your vision and said, this is what I want to do. You started from the scratch. You let go your most promising PR company, marketing company, to start something that is changing lives. And I want to say that the messages that you are putting forth is helping many people. Families are grateful. Institutions are grateful. And since we have you here today, I would like us to actually dialogue. And also, I know you have some questions for me. That's why you are here today. That deals with where we are with millennials. And as you know, I'm a great fan of millennials. I believe that in the next 3 to 5 years, the world will realize that future leadership is going to be on the shoulders of millennials. I have confidence in millennials. So as you ask these questions, I hope it will be a blessing to those who are listening. And also, I hope they will be able to share this on their various platforms and let others hear what you have to ask and what I have to share to benefit millennials.
Awesome. And so I feel as though, I believe I'm a young visionary, and change agent and thought leader and pioneer and all these things combined, which you all are and you have been for years. And so I think that in this time right now that we're living in these times of the pandemic and the injustice, I want to be a voice to those people right now that are rising, visionaries and rising entrepreneurs. So I believe that there's like this influx of people rising, and I'm going to be using my phone because I'm a millennial. So, we stick with our
Go
phones,
ahead.
okay? So,
Yeah.
I believe there's an influx of people rising up in their identity during these times of uncertainty. What are some encouraging words that you can give us, some tips, some affirmations that you can share with millennials who are rising change agents and pioneers and thought leaders just to stay focused during this time?
One of the things that I will say to millennials is that keep dreaming and don't give up your vision. Always remember when a new generation is rising, there's always disturbance in society. When a new generation is getting ready to take a position, the older generation will find faults and reasons why not to validate that new generation. It has happened and it's still happening. So there's nothing new under the sun. But one thing we have to recognize is that it's a new day and there's a rising of new leadership. And the millennials, whether they like it or not, whether they are prepared or not, they are going to be solving the problems that has been created for them by this present generation and generation past and other generations. Whatever this generation was unable to fix when she inherited her position, this new generation will be asked to do so. So the millennials, there's so much on your shoulders. And my encouragement to millennials is that you have to be confident and you have to be certain that you are capable of managing the complex challenges that is before you. Also, don't let your vision die. You believe in projects, you believe in community, and you believe in social justice, and you believe in prosperity. You also believe that everyone should have a fair chance to live their lives in honoring their God and also in doing what is right by society. You'll be taking political roles just like you are digitally taking over. You also be taking roles in our academia, and you also be taking roles that literally brings social and corporate responsibility to our world. My encouragement to you is don't let anyone despise your youth, but you can be an example in your words and in your action and let the world know that you mean business.
Wow. I mean, that was just so much in so little time. I don't even understand how you packed all that in like 2 minutes because I'm trying to digest it. I'm thinking about what you said when you said when there is a influx of leaders that are rising, there's always a disturbance in society. And that is so powerful because when you think about it, I feel like this is a time that so many leaders are becoming who like finding their identity or becoming their leaders because guess what, we have more time to read, we have more time to research, we have to be still. So a lot of us have not been still for so long. You know what they say with millennials, we want these popcorn opportunities to happen where it's like we want fast, we're like this society that's looking for the next thing, but now we're like forced to be in our houses or quarantined, and we're forced to figure out who we really are. You know, we have time with our thoughts, and sometimes it can lead us into depression. Sometimes it can lead us into just a great leadership role for our next level in life. And so, as visionaries or as young visionaries and these young leaders that are rising, how can you continue to tell them or give them some type of affirmations to move forward when it comes to seeing beyond? So you know, when we wake up, we might see our current circumstance, right? We believe in the dream, we might own the dream, but we might be like hard for us to continue to see it every single day. So how can you continue to tell someone or affirm someone to say, listen, this is your dream, you own it, and you have to learn how to see beyond what you currently see right at this moment? Because I know you probably seen things years down the road, right? When you were just 20 and in your 30s. And I know that you're a different type of thought leader. Like you didn't have social media growing up. So you didn't have those pressures. It was just kind of you and God, at this thing. And I think when it comes to us as millennials now, we have all these different voices because everyone has opinions, right? Everyone can tweet their opinions out. They can Facebook their opinions out. They can Instagram what they want to say. And it may be, give us an influence that may not be, it may not keep us on the straight road of our visions. So how do we stay in alignment with our vision and not be influenced by all the pressures that society is putting on us?
Yeah, this is a very important
Yeah.
question. I'll attempt to answer in some few minutes by first saying that yes, there are so many voices out there. We have to be able to sift through the voices and hold on to the right voice. But you can only hold on to a voice when you understand your own voice. If you don't have a voice, then any voice you hear can be voices, and those voices can confuse you. Once you have your own voice, then you have established your own identity. So within your identity, you are able to know what fits in your identity and what doesn't fit in your identity. There is pressure on these millennials today, and there's serious stress. There's serious mental challenge. And the fact that you're having a mental challenge does not mean you're crazy. It means that you have a situation that needs to be dealt with because so much pressure and so much short time to do all the ideas that flows through your mind. You need to find a good mentor, one who believes in you and one who sees and can identify with your vision and can help you see as far as you see and can help you manage your steps as you go forward. Once you find a good mentor and one you begin to helps you to assess what is on your table and also help you to make the right decision, then you can avoid the mental challenge or conflict, which at times can end up in depression. Depression is real, and let's not kid ourselves. It's so much of a challenge to everyone, and even the best out there. I mean, it is believed that 1 out of 7 has a mental has a depression. So we should not look at depression as a negative thing. Yes, it's something that can affect us, but we should also look at it as something that we can get help from. We should be able to get support and help from any source necessary. You don't always have to look, if you're a Christian, only get help from the church, because the church may not always have the answer or may not know how to address some of these issues. Just like saying, I'm sick, I'm only looking for a Christian doctor. If there's none, you will die. Find a doctor who knows what he's doing. Whether he's Christian or not Christian, you pray that God will guide your hands to fix you or give them the mind to be able to prescribe the right medication that you need. Then make sure that you find a good praying team. People who can pray for you, who can walk with you, who can celebrate with you, and also those who can mourn and cry with you if necessary. My affirmation to a millennial is every morning when you get up, thank God and look yourself in the mirror and remind yourself that your best days are not behind you, they are in you. And you're going to face tomorrow strong.
So good. So good. I mean, the Holy Spirit just guided you with that one because, you jumped to my question. I love it because I feel as though mental health is something that's not talked about in the church. And by the way, I'm so excited. I have a great mentor. So that's checked off my list, right? But I feel like mental health is not talked about in the church. And so my next question was just like, how have you ever had a therapist, or do you recommend a therapist for people that are up and coming leaders? And then what does that look like in the Christian world? So you just told us that we don't have to have a Christian therapist, just look for a doctor, which is already kind of answers that question. But like, what does that look like as far as mental health in the church? Because I remember growing up, when something was wrong with me, my mom would be like, we're going to pray it out of you, and like that was it. And there was no doctors. And so that was a lot of us in the, African American community. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to send you to sit down with a professional. It was, I'm going to pray it out of you and you're going to be okay by God's grace. And so, now we're bringing these topics up. And I think they're really great discussions to have because we can be believers and we can still seek professional help as well. So just to add on to that, what do you feel people should do? Should they go seek professional help and then, still seek their pastors and tell their pastors about the professional help, or should they divide that, or what does that look like in the church?
Help is help, and help doesn't care who has it and who doesn't have it. Help doesn't need no gender.
Yeah.
You see, let me say this: if all pastors are mechanics, then all single women in our community will come to church. Pastors can only handle one piece. They don't know it all.
That's good.
Even though the messages we present to people at times sounds like we got all the answers and we are the ones that God has appointed to fix everybody. But there are so many pastors today who are actually suffering from depression. But because we have been so secretive and we hold so much in,
Right.
when you are hurting, you don't know who to approach. And unfortunately, this has been the case. There are people who have issues that needs to be talked through. Yes, prayer can answer many things, and prayer can do wonders, but prayer doesn't do everything. At times, and I want to say it again, prayer can do wonders and can do many things, but prayer doesn't do everything. If you pray when you're supposed to take action and you say prayer to do it for you, trust me, it will happen. I've never met a person who would sit in the driver's side of a car and pray and the car will move by itself. Prayer can do some things, but it doesn't do everything. When you have a challenge which involves an expert or a therapist that can help you, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't reduce your spirituality. Neither does it make you bad. You can talk through, but if you can find a Christian who understands your situation, then they will use the faith, the Bible, love, and support to help you overcome. We should understand that this day and age, we are eating so many foods that are GMOs. And the food itself that we eat, they are not organic.
Yeah.
And guess what? It creates problems for us. There are those who are also born with chemical imbalances. I mean, we need help, and we should give people opportunity to get the help that they need. I will encourage millennials. That's why we have to get mentors who understand spiritual things, who understand natural things, and also who understand professional things, who can help us each step of the way to stand firm. You know, you can be all things to all people. When they need God, bring the scriptures to them. When they need business decision, give them business solutions. And when they need family help, give them the kind of family support that they need so that the millennium will be complete. Don't be bashful. And this is what I'll say to you because I know you're dealing with a lot of people
Yeah.
who are going through many things.
Yeah.
Tell them not to be ashamed to acknowledge where they need help. And if they find people who genuinely care about them and can support them to live out and overcome their challenges, yes, they should go for the help that they need.
Yeah, that's so good. It's so good. And when we think about that, just talking about like everything from mentors to just having good people around you to pray for you, I think about real relationships, right? And we think about how relationships are the foundation to our success and to what we do with our life, you know, the people around us. And so that's just like building a community. So I really want to talk about like what as millennials, what can we do to organically continue to build our communities during these times, and then what does that look like in our own life, because our communities could be me, you, and two other people. Our communities could be a community at large. So what should we do, or what advice could you give us to say, hey, you need to go out and do X, Y, and Z? Because I believe in being civically engaged. I believe in making sure that that's a pillar, and I'm a pillar in my community in some type of way, whether it's giving back, whether it's having an event, you know, where millennials are together. But what can we do to be able to be more boisterous in our community and be able to help our community just be solid, more solid, you know, because all these things that we're talking about, it could be discussed with multiple people that need to hear these things. So how can we bring us together, or how can we do this now in the times that we're living in?
Many of the struggles, again, that we face in our world and the challenges that is upon us is to remind us that another generation is rising and they don't see things black and white as we see them. In the 50s, segregation was very strong. In the early 60s, some of the people who are today in power, they became hippies. They traveled the world over. Some went to India, some went to Africa, some went to other places. Some were exposed to different things. Some got into religion. Some got into cannibalism, which is marijuana.
Yeah.
Some got into all kinds of things. They came back and they realized that they cannot change the world. If they intend on changing the world, they can't do so with long hair and hippie dressing. They have to cut their heads and go to law school. Most of them went to law school and came up. Some have epiphany or experiences that changed them. There are those who became religious, and there are those who became liberal, and they got into law schools. And now most of these people are making decisions for our world. Now, they have done what they could. They raised children, and the millennials are today the children of the people who experienced a revolution.
Wow. Yeah.
So these young people are saying, our community now tells us that you can't deceive us with black and white issues. We are not looking at the country necessarily. We are looking at the communities, and we're going to study in our communities. So these are my friends. This is my community. I went to school with them. We play sports together. So if one hurts, I hurt. So they see things differently. So your generation, which is the millennial, they are community engaged. They like projects. They are interested. They are not missionaries who are going with the Bible, but they say, what can we do in the community to provide wholeness? What can we produce in the community to prevent child slavery or sexual exploitation? What can we do in the community to reduce violence against women? What can we do in the community to say that Black lives matter, brown lives matter, white lives matter, and everybody matter? What can we do in community to not politicize everything, but just find a common way to address the issues that generation past did not address, which is racial issues.
Yeah.
So you see, you have a lot of work to do,
Yeah.
and you need courage, and you need the kind of support you need in your community base to make it happen. There are great mentors on individuals who understand your plight and understand the burden that is upon you and what your generation ought to do. You have to seek them out. And also, some have to seek you out because it is the hearts of the fathers and the hearts of the mothers going for their sons and daughters, and also the heart of the daughters and sons going after their parents and finding people who will become like parents, guidance, counselors, mentors, inspirational leaders to remind you that they've been through in their day, in their time, they've been through. But in your time, these are the things you need to add to yours to achieve the results you have to achieve. You have a lot of work to do, and you are the ones who are going to build the community that the political systems of the past, the racial tensions of the past, the economic disparities of the past, the educational challenges of the past have not solved. This is the burden that you have, and that is why you are occupying a very sensitive spot
Yeah.
with the dangers of the mind, and also with your global network, which is Kristen
Kristen Hopkins
Hopkins
Global.
Global,
Yes.
and what you are doing. This is why you are doing it passionately. That's why when I see people like you, I'm encouraged. I know there's hope for tomorrow.
So good, so good. I feel like this is just like made me like gotta go because I got stuff, I got work to do. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just it's always never ending. It's always something to do. And I think the one thing that you said really stuck with me is that not just we have to seek you guys out, but you guys seek us out too. And I think a lot of times millennials get to a place where they're intimidated by people that have had success and that are older. I've never been that way because I just like wisdom. I like to be around wisdom, and I think there's some since I was a little girl, I've always liked to be around older people because it just did something to me. I want to hear conversations, but a lot of millennials now are a little intimidated because it's different. Times are totally different. Like a thought leader like you is maybe not a thought leader like me because we have the same common goal as a thought leader, but we might have just came up differently in a different society. And so I think your experiences and my experiences combined together could be very, very powerful. And that's the same with any millennial and any man of wisdom or any woman of wisdom who has seen, the society change over time. And so I'm honored, and I'm just really excited to be able to pick at you and listen to your heart and really hear the wisdom that you share. But also, I know this will be such an encouragement for so many millennials around the world, and just what they do next, because this is also a call to action. As you speak, this is a call to action to many millennials around the world to say, you are called to do something, because there's two type of entrepreneurs. There's type that just may be an entrepreneur and make money, but there's also type that are actually called to a space, called to a specific part of society that there's a gap in, and they're supposed to feel that. That's what they're supposed to do with their work's mission. And so those people who I believe you're really talking to when you're saying, that you have to get together, you have to have this network, you have to have the community, and you have to be able to bridge that with the people of wisdom and the millennials. So this is amazing. I'm excited.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tell you, Christine, you have a lot to say. This is where, and this is why I want the world to hear your voice. You are a millennial, but because you always seek out wisdom and also you pull the best out of every one of us, I would say that if millennials will catch your spirit and will do likewise, then there's no stopping. They'll be able to fulfill their mandate, whether in business, in the social space, where they're supposed to bring justice and also bring reformation. They will do a good job, and in the end, they will carry many from one point to the safest point. Thank you for joining us in Doing Life. Again, Christian, thank you for being with me today.
It's always my pleasure. And thank you for allowing me to do life with you.
Come on.
We look forward to seeing you virtually online. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, We're Life International RTP, and also follow us on our social media platforms. Thank you for doing life with us. We enjoy doing life together.